thought-out Irish PM blasts Brexiteers and says trade talks may not start next month. The Taioseach told reporters European leaders are exasperated by the drawn-out and chaotic nature of Britain's exit from the club, telling them sometimes it doesn't seem like they've thought all this through. And he offered an uncharacteristically downbeat assessment of how the divorce talks are progressing, saying that Dublin is prepared to wait into the new year for the UK to make more concessions in the first phase. Mr. Varadkar made the remarks as he arrived for an EU social summit in Gothenburg, Sweden, at which Theresa May is once again expected to press her counterparts to free up progress in the deadlocked negotiations. They came as the Swedish PM, Stefan Löfven, said there was still some way to go before sufficient progress can be declared, despite the fact the December summit is now just a few weeks away. The remarks, by the leaders of two of Britain's closest allies in Brussels, will alarm those who feel that the two sides need to start trade talks next month to avoid a cliff-edge Brexit. Yesterday it emerged that the bloc's chief negotiator, Michel Barnier, is now bracing European capitals for the fact that a transitional deal may not be agreed until next autumn. That would leave virtually no time for any amendments, with the EU Parliament determined to drive a particularly hard bargain, and would mean permanent trade talks only starting once the UK is outside the club. Studies showed that Ireland has by far the most to lose economically in the event of a no-deal Brexit, but today Mr. Varadkar said Dublin is still prepared to back the tough position adopted by other EU capitals. He said, "I'm always an optimist, that's my nature as a politician, so I think it's certainly possible that we can come to conclusions in December allowing Phase 2 talks to begin. But if we have to wait until the new year, we have to wait for further concessions, so be it. But I think it would be in all of our interests that we proceed to Phase 2, if we can, in December." The Taioseach also let rip at leading Brexiteers, including this in the government like Boris Johnson and Michael Gove, suggesting they had not thought through the consequences of the decision to leave. He told reporters, "It's 18 months since the referendum, it's 10 years since people who wanted the referendum started agitating for one. Sometimes it doesn't seem like they've thought all this through." Mr. Varadkar laid down his position that the UK government must pledge in writing that there will be no hard border on the island of Ireland as a result of Brexit before trade talks can begin. And he appeared to offer a veiled criticism of Mrs. May's decision to pull Britain out of the single market and customs union, branding it unilateral and saying it went further than the referendum result. He said, "They've taken that off the table before we even talk about trade. What we want to take off the table before we even talk about trade is any idea that there would be a hard border, a physical border, or a border resembling the past in Ireland." Some leading European figures, including the EU Parliament Brexit coordinator Guy Verhofstadt, have said Northern Ireland must stay in the single market and customs union to avoid such a frontier. But today Mr. Varadkar denied that suggestion, suggesting the UK's proposal for a new customs partnership after Brexit is workable, and pointing out there is already a political border on the island.